button. Welcome all to our Naptime Nuggets. I love, love, love now that I've transitioned to this time of day because hypothetically, our babies are napping at this time so we can get on the calls. Um, but your kids are always welcome. That's the beauty of this business and what we do as coaches. So always, and you're always muted anyway, so it's no big deal. Um, I'm going to actually go ahead and I might have to, hopefully you guys can hear me. I'm going to mute all and then I'll unmute, or actually Mandy, just remember to unmute. So that way as people jump on, nobody's unmuted. All right, so I was listening to, I don't know how many of you guys got a chance to listen to the National Wake Up Call it was the first one in March with Julie Boris. And she talked about the fundamentals. And as I was listening to this call, I immediately thought of Mandy and Heather and how they've actually grown past just the two of them, but the two of them came together and did something really special in their business. And as Julie talked about these fundamentals, which were, she called it FIT, which is focused, intentional time. The 3 vital behaviors, which hopefully you guys all know what those are. If you don't, if you're a brand new coach, you just signed up yesterday. The 3 vital behaviors are be a product of the product. So you're drinking your Shakeology, you're doing your workouts. The second one is inviting, and then the third one is personal development. And then the third aspect of her fundamentals, so there's FIT, focused intentional time, 3 vital behaviors, and then surround yourself with positive people who lift you up and encourage you. And as I listened to her just kind of talk of each of these points, if you didn't get a chance, go back and listen to the recording of this call because it was really good. I thought about Mandy and Heather and what they've been doing with their business, and so I asked them if they would get on this call and share with you guys what they've been doing, because as I have watched them just kind of take this whole thing on, and you notice I'm kind of not telling you what it is, but as I've watched them put this little project together that they've been doing and the simplicity of it, there's nothing more to it than just being determined to get on a call with each other and work. Can you guys hear me okay over Hannah? She's been quiet like the whole time I've been sitting here. Okay, so here's the thing about Mandy and Heather. I've watched these two women. They fight for not only their personal growth and the growth of their team. They did not shoot to the top, or they don't race to rake in as many Success Club points as they could. They don't recruit 10 coaches a month. Sometimes they don't recruit 1 coach a month. Heather has been a coach she was a coach for well over a year before she actually started to build this business. And Mandy really started as a business builder from the beginning, but it took her some time to I guess, come out of her shell a little more and really share her belief in the possibilities of what this opportunity with Beachbody had to offer. And so as Julie Boris talked on the call about focused, intentional time, and sharing the power of the 3 vital behaviors and what it really, really meant to stick to the basics. And then finally, the importance of surrounding yourself with people who push you to do more. I knew that Mandy and Heather were actively living this out and that they were getting results from that. Let's just pick you up. Because really, and I think it's even here recently, I was talking to Amy Kynard, a lot of coaches seem to struggle a little bit more in the business now than I remember. And I think it's because we have complicated so much. Just, oh my word. We have complicated so much what it takes to grow this business. Okay, so Mandy and Heather, Mandy, I'm going to hand this over to you a little bit quicker. Thank you so much for getting on this call. I am so incredibly proud of both of you. They're both Diamond coaches. Mandy is working her way very closely to Diamond, one-star Diamond, excuse me. And Heather is just on the cusp, maybe Thursday, of being one-star Diamond qualified. So I'm very excited to hear from you guys and for you to share your success with others. And I'm going to go on mute and Mandy lets you take over.
All right, here goes nothing. Good afternoon, Rock teammates. For those of you I don't know yet, my name is Mandy. Rebecca asked me to talk to you briefly today about my daily study hall. So the idea came together at Super Saturday about 3 months ago. Heather met me in Charlotte for Super Saturday. She made the effort to come to my local Super Saturday so we could connect in person. We honestly didn't have any strong personal or professional relationship at that point. Our only connection was that we were both part of the Rock and that we both went to the same college. After that event, we were in the parking lot discussing what we could do to reconnect periodically and help each other reach our business goals. And the discussion came full circle, kind of back to the idea of a weekday Zoom call at 5 a.m. We're both married with 2 boys, and we thought this morning call may help us be more consistent. We had hopes of making templates, getting organized, and developing fancy systems, but I can't say that any of that has really happened. But let me tell you what has happened for me. We have religiously got up at 5 a.m. every weekday and some weekends since January 11th. Some days we chat more than we should. That's probably my fault. Some days we bounce ideas and advice off of each other, but most of the time we just have a power hour. The group has now grown to 5 or 6, depending on the day. We try to stay on task and respect each other's time. And when the free Zoom call cuts off rather abruptly, around 40 minutes, we're off and running. One of the members of our group actually lives in Colorado. So she's on the call with us at 3:30 a.m. every morning. Let me say that again. Jen gets up at 3 a.m. to get it done. What's your excuse? Honestly. So let me lay out my typical morning for you. My alarm goes off at 5. I get ready for the day and then I do 10 minutes of personal development reading. This is all before I open my computer or look at my phone. At about 5:30, I start a Zoom call with my girls. They trickle in and we get to work. I start checking off items on my Power Hour checklist. At about 6:30, I get my workout in. I attempt to get more work time in at my boys' nap time, and ultimately I finish my checklist at 8 p.m. when I put the boys down, unless I've already completed it. I have disciplined myself to complete that checklist of about 20 items in its entirety every single day. If I'm intentional with my time, it takes me about 2 hours at my desk to complete the items. If I'm very intentional with my time during the morning and nap breaks, I'm actually rewarded by not having homework at night, and I'm already getting more efficient and better about getting it done. So my nights are more frequently spent with my husband relaxing these days, which is very nice. So the result of this checklist and study hall has been twofold. My business is growing, but I also feel great. I'm much more balanced and less stressed. The hour I get in before anybody gets up and anybody can disturb me really allows me to be more present with my young boys throughout the day. I don't feel like my business is pulling me away or is a weight on my shoulders. Yes, I earned Diamond in January. Yes, I got Success Club 10 in February and March, and I've only got Success Club 10 one other time in my year and a half as a coach. And yes, I earned more income in March than I ever have. But the rank, the Success Club, and the money are really just icing on the cake. I feel so much better about myself with this routine. So undoubtedly, you've heard about duplicability. And this study hall concept is definitely duplicable. It's pretty simple to set an alarm, and there really isn't much competing for your time at 5 a.m., unless you work nights maybe. So I encourage you to start your own group. Reach out to someone you connect with in the rock or on your team, and it doesn't need to be someone in your personal upline or downline. Just find someone that's on the same page as you. In the past, I've personally tried morning texts with people for accountability. I've even tried other numerous accountability partners, but they just didn't stick. Heather and I almost had an unspoken pact from the get-go that there's no room for excuses. No matter what the situation, we show up. I think I've missed 2 mornings, and I think she's only missed 1 in 3 months' time. We just show up. I think some of my other attempts at success partners have failed because we were too lenient. We were just too sympathetic with each other and the demands of being a mom. But Heather and I, and now the rest of the group, treat our study hall like work hours. We have to be there no matter what the world throws at us. Last night, I made the decision to stay up late and watch the NCAA basketball championship with my husband. But that didn't mean I got to sleep in and show up late to work today. I was on the call with the girls this morning. So the forced work hours and consistency has been the game changer for me. How do you find your Heather and subsequently your crew? Just keep trying until it sticks. I wasn't even really looking for a partner, but I knew I needed to do better about taking action toward my goals. And once you do find something that's working like this, make sure you share it with others because it might actually work for them too. I was a little hesitant to do that, but on the chance that this can help somebody, I'm glad to be on the call. Previously, I wanted a successful business without putting in business hours, but now I have business hours. And if I do the math, I make about $16 an hour. Now it's time to continue helping people and watch that momentum and number grow. Ironically, at Super Saturday this past weekend, I feel like I gained some clarity on why things are working better now. It goes back to the Beachbody mantra: decide, commit, succeed. We see it everywhere. It's on our boxes in the mail. Decide was a no-brainer for me personally. That's just my personality. When I signed up to be a coach in July of 2014, I knew I was going to be a successful Beachbody coach, and I believed it would happen for me. I wasn't testing the waters or anything. The piece that I now realize I had wrong until this weekend was commit. I was treating decide and commit as essentially one and the same. I was fully committed mentally and verbally. There was nothing that was going to change my mind, but I was missing the necessary action to make it a reality. See, for me, commit now means more of the actions I have to take to demonstrate my commitment, not words or feelings. I can give you a small example of someone who decided but didn't commit. A lady named Kim sat in the available seat next to me at Super Saturday this weekend. I introduced myself, and I introduced the girl on the other side of her that I just connected with in the limbo line. No, I didn't win. Kim said, "Geez, I could never do that." And when I asked what, she said, "Start talking to someone and make a friend while just standing in a line." In my head, I thought, why not? You just do it, even if it feels a little awkward at first. I proceeded to find out a little more about her and tell her she was my friend now too. The guest speakers began, and it was an impressive lineup. I couldn't help but notice Kim texted and scrolled Facebook the entire time the speakers were talking. And if I apply that to the Beachbody mantra, she decided she was going to be a successful coach, and she showed up for the optional training. Kudos. But she didn't commit with her actions, even though she was present at the training. At some point, she will probably get discouraged and tell her coach that she's doing everything she's been told to do and it isn't working. But my brief time with her indicated that she probably isn't being intentional with her time. She probably isn't fully committed to her business goals. Personally, when I finally combined the decide and commit pieces, through our study hall and power hour checklist. Succeed was automatic. I never had to think about succeeding. Of course, I had to believe I could, but succeed literally can just happen for you when you decide and actually commit. You've probably heard enough from me for now, so I'll turn it over to Heather and then Gretchen to jump in and share their thoughts, and then we can answer any questions you may have.
Wow, Mandy, that was really good. She covered a lot there, so I'll try not to be redundant. The big thing for me was, like Mandy was saying, was the commitment factor, and I was all over the map. This has honed it in for me. It was like, okay, I'm going to have my specific time. It's a non-negotiable, like we don't miss. Non-negotiable, I'm up. My alarm, we have very similar. We've talked about this when we were in that parking lot of how's our morning going to look. And where I struggled was prioritizing, when do I work out? When do I do my invites? When do I do my PD? It's like I know all these things that I want to do and I'm going to do, but it's like I needed to schedule it in. And so we made this decision. My morning is literally 5 o'clock, my alarm goes off. 4:58, my Fitbit buzzes me, and 5 o'clock the alarm goes off. It's like every single time. And brush my teeth at 5:05, come downstairs, turn on the coffee pot, and start reading. And so I get those, depending on how quick I can make my coffee, it's a good 10 to 20 minutes of solid PD, which I love because it's quiet. I don't have to think about my kids are sleeping. It's just me time. I don't have to think about a checklist or things to do because I know at 5:30 my next alarm goes off and I need to get to the computer because Mandy's going to have the Zoom thing posted and I don't want to be late. So we get our PD in, and then we work for an hour. We go till 6:30. Typically what happens, we get like the 40 minutes of the Zoom call and it cuts us off, like Mandy mentioned. And then which is really good because I'm already in the zone of what I was working on. And then I have like a couple extra minutes, maybe 10, 15 minutes extra before I go make school lunches and breakfast and all that crazy stuff that a lot of us moms do. And where I really am focused, like I am like, we just got done. I'm in a zone and I get it done. And that, to me, I can't recreate that any other way because when I sit down and I don't have the girls on the call, I get distracted. I'm on Facebook, I'm scrolling. This is like 1 hour concentrated time. Even if we're talking, we're always talking about the business or, hey, what was that? Where's that link for this? Or what do you guys say to this? It's just good to have that right there in front of you, those people that you can reference. So that part's been really amazing. And going back to just the fundamentals, what Rebecca was talking about was I was getting overwhelmed and things were getting complicated in my head. When we decided to do this, I had just hit Diamond. I had momentum in my corner. I'm really rolling, excited. Super Saturday, go meet Mandy. We had connected online, but not in person ever. And I felt like, oh my gosh, like there's so many things with social media and all this stuff that you have to do and this team's growing and no one letting anyone down. And I was like, okay, take a deep breath. It's the basics. Literally the inviting, the PD, the workouts, the Shakeology, just the basics. So this gave me structure to that. The last couple of months they've been up and down for me. I wasn't instant. Like for Mandy, it's been very much, she hit Diamond, she hit SC10. She's been just like skyrocketing her business. Mine kind of hit like a little bit of a lull. And it wasn't even discouraging, to be honest. Like it's disappointing. I didn't hit Success Club. It got so close. I can't remember which month, like February or something. And it wasn't like, oh man, like it's time to give up or throw in the towel. It was more, I'm going to keep at this. I'm going to stay consistent. And that consistency has been huge. We've been every single day doing the things. And this month, just this week, I have had the craziest shift of momentum. I'm at SC4 right now, which is rare for me to hit it this early in the month. And I'm on the verge of 6. So I'm happy about that, but it's more people coming back and people that I had been talking to over the last couple months, just planting seeds. It wouldn't happen if I hadn't committed to Mandy and this group. And just to touch on, I know 2 of my coaches are on the call with us too. Jen, she's on the verge of Emerald. Christine should hit Diamond this week. I mean, it's like, this works. And it's not like you have to wake up at 5 in the morning and find a group of crazy people that you want to look at with their messy hair. It's that you're doing the same thing. You're doing those tasks every day. And what else do I want to focus on here? I think, yeah, and then one other thing that when Mandy and I were talking about all this, she had mentioned, fancy systems, and we had these big ideas like, oh, we could put a binder together and we can get more organized because neither of us are that good at the organization piece. And then we were like, okay, well, let's just get up and do the task we're supposed to do. But in the end, when we talked about it, it was like, we need to be duplicable. Like, we're not binder people, so we can't pretend to be or try to be. Like, we can try and find ways to be, to make what we're doing duplicable for all of our coaches. And I think this is something that I feel really comfortable, like, telling every one of my new coaches, like, here's what you need to do. It doesn't matter how long you've been in this business or how far you get up in the ranks or whatever, you always are going to come back down to these basic tasks. And the rest, I hope, will start taking care of itself, as we continue to grow our teams. So that's, I think, good for now. Thanks, guys.
Hey, thank you so much. Gretchen, did you want to jump in and share anything of how it's helped you?
Yeah, just real fast. So for me, one of the biggest things that I've gotten out of it, and I've been part of study hall now for about a month, and that includes, I think, almost every weekend we've done a Saturday, not because somebody was making us or peer pressure, but because we wanted to. And just we like the momentum and like getting together. And for me, it's been a real, I guess, legitimacy is a big thing for me and for my family. My husband sees me get up at, he knows my alarm clock goes off at 5 every morning, and we have 4 kids. My baby joins me some mornings in study hall because my alarm goes off and I'm sitting up nursing her in bed, and I bring her down and, do the best I can. It's really kind of like a no excuse. We all have long nights. We all have something going on. My husband sees that. And he sees my checklist on the desk, and he sees me with my PD book out. And it's, for him, he has totally bought in over this last month. I mean, he talks to me, how's business going? And not in like a joking way, but is really interested. He knows exactly, I have my Diamond Dream Team out, and he knows exactly where everybody is and what needs to happen for me to get to Diamond. And he's interested in it, and it's just been a real big legitimacy factor in our family, which is something that for my husband, he just kind of hasn't seen it, or, it's kind of been this little thing on the side that my wife's kind of doing. And now he's no kidding talking about, yeah, well, I'm going to retire and we're going to live on Beachbody. Like it's a joint goal now instead of just something that I'm kind of playing in. And, another thing too, I think personally getting the legitimacy out of having coworkers. Like, I was having a really hard time. I was in the UK for 3 years trying to do this, and I didn't do very well at all. I really let down some coaches, and it was really hard for me to connect. And having this and connecting with these awesome ladies in the morning, having real coworkers who are real people, who are real dedicated to the business, has even made me more like, this is legitimate. This isn't just, mommy's playing around in their free time. This is a business, and that's how I'm going to treat it. And that's how this group treats it. And so just the importance of finding those that you click with and that have the same goals as you do it's incredible. And, like Mandy said, I miss not meeting on Sundays. I look forward to our 5:30. And like this morning, I was really tired, and afterwards, after I got the kids off, I laid down and took a nap. But like the 5:30 it had to happen because that set the tone for the day. So. Rebecca, you're muted.
How about now? Okay, so you didn't hear the baby that whole time. That's good. Kelly, did you want to share anything real quick before we open up for questions? I know that you jump on a couple of times a week as well. Did you want to add anything?
I could try. I've got like airplanes flying in the background and massive craziness. Mandy reached out to me and invited me, and it was a huge blessing. I would like to be on more than I am, but I try to get on 3 mornings a week, if not 4. My goal is 4. I'd like to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Tuesday, Thursdays are mornings. I still get up before the kids, but I have late nights the night before. But the noise in the background's why. I kind of hit a wall in my business. I've been trying to figure out how to push it past that wall, and it was because the focus time. This is my crazy life, and with 6 kids, like, I can work it in the mom cracks, but it's hard to track and be focused. It's been really good the mornings I can hop on. Even this morning, like, I overslept my alarm. I didn't even hear it go off. And when I got up at 6:30, I was like, oh, and my husband's like, it's not a big deal. I'm like, people were like up. And it's because I know people are up. I want to do it. Like, it just is, I mean, and I've tried before where, like, I've had people where we text each other to get up, but that's still not the same as there are people working right now. And there's a sense of, like, not like they're leaving me behind, but I'm getting left behind. Like, it motivates me, you know, and it's helped. I mean, it's the beginning of the month, and I have a coach, and I'm at SC4. And I can guarantee you, because the last 2 weeks of last month, I stayed on top of things more because of that accountability. Whereas the months before, I was kind of having a hard time staying focused. So I agree. If you can start something like this with your team, like, I'm thinking eventually it might be something I do with some of my team in the morning. I'm not stopping. Like, I crave the morning now, which is weird. I used to not be a morning person. But yeah, it's been awesome. I'm so thankful they reached out. It's definitely been a game changer for me. So.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Now, I would love if you guys have any questions, like how they do this, or what they talk about, or any of that. If any of you want to unmute yourself, maybe 3 questions before we jump off. Does anybody have any questions? Just unmute yourself and start talking. I will say that somebody unmuted. Where are you? Amy? Okay.
You know, I love to ask questions. I love this idea because it's so lonely when you try to build your business on your own, and you want people to get it. Like, just get up and do it. Like, that's how I built my business. And now I've kind of slacked off with the morning stuff. So this is perfect timing for me. But my thing is, I'm a social butterfly. So if I'm on a Zoom call with people at 5:30 in the morning, I'm afraid I'm going to talk and not work. How do you keep focused with knowing that someone's on the computer? That's just weird. Tell me about it.
Mandatory mute, Amy.
I think that in the beginning, Mandy and I talked a lot more. As the group grew, we kind of felt bad talking because it was like we were holding our people that we pulled in back a little bit. And then it was kind of like, see you every day. We don't really need to catch up on anything. So we just stopped. Sometimes we get a little bit, but a couple minutes here or something. We've also gotten to know each other so well where we feel comfortable just saying, like, all right, I gotta get stuff done. Stop talking, you know? So you can kind of, I think it's picking the right people that you just feel good about, that you're just like, okay, we're gonna talk a little bit, and then, because I like to talk too.
And are you like, okay, I got my 2 invites done. Like, do you update them, like what you've done so far?
Not really. We kind of do. We chat throughout the day on Messenger, like if something happens, but it's just like a natural thing. Like, oh, I got, you know, I sold a challenge pack or something, or I got this new coach, or hey, I have a question on something. It's really awesome just having that running conversation that's throughout the day. And it's not like you have to respond immediately thing. But in the morning, it's like, we all know what we're supposed to be doing. We've done a few times. Jill came on one morning. It was probably our most productive morning ever. She like had this task, and it was like a scavenger hunt. She was like, okay, three new connections, go. We all like go on Facebook and we're making our new connections. 3 new invites, go. That was kind of a fun way to do it. So if you're kind of like a task-oriented person and you want to stay on track, that might be a good way to do it. I think we've just kind of all have our checklist and know individually what to do. So I think both options would work. That makes sense.
Thank you. All right. I want to honor your time, so if you have to jump off, go ahead. But if anybody has maybe 2 more questions, then we can also bring this stuff up in the rock and ask questions there. Another question?
I don't really have a question. It's more just like a statement. As a new coach, a relatively new coach, I think this would be really great. Like, I'm like super excited about this right now because I think my issue, like Kelly was saying, was having that focus. And my internet connection is horrible. So if I'm breaking up, I'm sorry. But so I just wanted to say that, Amy, I'm all in. So if you want to do it, let's do it. And I think for new coaches, it's fantastic because as I'm going through my checklist during the day, there's always like, well, what about this or what about that? Or like, you know, or I'll just feel overwhelmed. So just having that time in the morning to have that person right there to be like, hey, what about that? You know, and you can ask that right off the bat would be fantastic. So I just want to say thank you guys for doing this and putting this out there because I knew getting up early would help, but hearing everybody say all the stuff that's going around in your head and then how it's helped them get rid of all that noise is fantastic. So thank you so much. And your baby is adorable, Rebecca.
Thank you. All right. One last question. Anybody else have anything they want to say? I will say that the list that if you want to jump in while I'm talking, jump in. But the list that Mandy is talking about, she actually posted in the rock. So if you do a search within the group, maybe under Mandy's name, you should come across that list, and you can use it, customize it how you need to. But it's all there for you. Anybody else? So another thing that I just wanted to pull out real quick from what I was hearing these ladies talk about is this sacrifice. This is the kind of sacrifice I see for my team. It's not about sacrificing in the way that you're not spending time with your spouse or you're sacrificing time with your kids. You're sacrificing your sleep. You're getting up earlier and it's hurting no one else but you. And you're building your business from that. And you can say at the end of the day that even if you just got 30 minutes done, you sent out one invite, read 10 minutes of personal development, and that's it. Like you did something that day to build your business, and it did not affect the time that you get to spend with your spouse and your kids. And I will say until the end of time, if you're sacrificing those things that are absolutely the most important in your life, you're not building a solid foundation for your business. So this, if you have very minimal time, this is really the way to do it. So, all right, ladies. Well, thank you so much. If you guys have any other questions that you want to add, I'm going to post this recording in the rock, and then you guys can ask questions there, and these ladies can help answer those questions. So, have a great week. Bye, ladies.